here we are. Hey, how are we? I'm Zach Rasinger. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Texas, and I'm here to walk you through everything that has to do with underwriting. Really appreciate all of you, our CRE Pro crew, everybody that's part of the CRE Pro course, everybody that's part of the CRE Pro crew. We're here for you. Questions, again, this is an open, live deal, baby. We're live on Friday. So shoot in your questions. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. I'm on LinkedIn Live. I'm on YouTube. I'm on TikTok here. I was just voted this week. I was voted the 10th best, biggest, and most awesome commercial real estate TikToker, behind my friend Aviva Sonnenreich, who has 1 million. Follow her on TikTok. She has 1 million followers. She's a badass. So as many of you may know, I am currently in the middle of 75 hard challenge. So I've got my jug of water here. Shout out to my friend Adam and all of the crew that I've always seen doing this challenge. Austin Linney is a huge proponent of the 75 hard. And if you're in the 75 hard, give me a 75 hard sign. Let me know that you're part of the crew. It is really difficult. It's a gallon of water a day. Thus, I have the water here. And then it's also 2 workouts a day. I like the workouts. The workouts are pretty cool because, 45 minutes long. One needs to be outdoors and just charging hard. So, commercial real estate's not an easy game. So you got to be fit, baby. Again, LinkedIn Live, TikTok Live, throw in your questions. We really appreciate everybody out there in the crew. Thank you very much. I'm here in the studio today in Austin, Texas. If you're ever in Austin, Texas, you want to come join us in the studio, love to have you. As many of you may know, I run a consulting firm. That consulting firm helps real estate agents and brokers market their properties effectively and efficiently. I get you out there in the field where you want to be with your clients and customers, and not where you have to be in the office creating marketing campaigns and TikTok reels and all that kind of stuff that we do. We produce, and it's all about the production, baby. It's all about the production. So today, what we're going to do, we're going to go through underwriting. I work with commercial real estate agents and brokers to help them market their property, but that also requires going out and getting the listings. So a lot of the listings that we get, and I help my clients get, and I help our CRE Pro crew get, are directly from investors. So I did want to go through a few things on investing first, a few ways that you can effectively and efficiently invest here in Texas. Always use a qualified and licensed real estate agent if you can, and reach out to me. I know some good ones, including myself. I would like to give you a shout out, as you guys know, on the show here. We love to talk about books. My friend Brandon Turner actually just followed today. Shout out to you, Brendan. Just followed on TikTok. So if you're a commercial real estate agent, if you're a broker, investor, if you are into investing in commercial real estate, it's the fastest way to grow a generational wealth by buying real estate. It's a stable asset. It's not going to go up overnight. Can't expect it to. But if you buy and hold them. If you buy and hold, you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna make money, and you'll be able to pass something down to your kids if you have them. And if you just want to send money to me, I'll take it too. So I wanted to propose to promote this book here, Real Estate by the Numbers. You can buy it on the Bigger Pockets website, and I'm sure, or I got this on Amazon. So it's got writing all throughout it. I destroy this book because I think it's amazing. It teaches you to underwrite properties. So when you're investing in real estate, you want to make sure that you have a. Thanks for the shout out there, Dwayne. That you have a consistent plan. And I have 10 steps here, which you can use today. Boom, 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 starting today, in order to invest in commercial real estate. It's really easy. I mean, you could invest $50 today just to check it out, just to try. There's a lot of syndication platforms out there, like Fundrise is one of them. I usually work with investors that are looking to invest somewhere in the $250,000 to $10 million range, just because of the property sizes that I work on, mostly here in Texas. And those in Texas I specialize in are really land and warehouse distribution facilities, in particular up in Williamson County, which is just outside of Austin, Texas. Austin, yeehaw! And that's where the new Samsung facility is going to be. So if you're interested in investing in land, you want to buy land, you want to sell land, you want to hold land, you want to invest in land, you want to develop land, reach out to me. Love to tell you a little bit more about what we're doing and then help you. If you currently have real estate and you'd like some help marketing that property, that's what it's all about, right? It's like if a tree falls in the woods and no one hears it, did it actually happen? Well, in our case, absolutely, because it's happening in the background. But if you don't get your property out in front of the right people at the right time when they're looking to invest, and now is the best time to invest. I know everybody always says that when's the best time to invest in real estate. Well, it was 10 years ago, yada, yada, yada. No, today. Second best time is today. Third best time is tomorrow, and so on. So, we've got a lot of options available here in and around Texas. So reach out if you have any questions about investing. Okay, so let me jump into the 10 best tips, and then we'll get into the underwriting. So the reason we're doing this is that I would say that selling real estate isn't difficult. Buying real estate isn't difficult, but buying the right real estate at the right time is very, very difficult. That's why not a lot of people do it. And I don't understand the stock market, so I'm not a stock guy, but I do understand real estate. And the reason I understand real estate is because I spend a whole lot of time underwriting deals. So what is underwriting? Underwriting is finding the true value of a property. When you're talking about the value of something, it's what somebody is willing to buy or sell it for. And that's just as simple as it is. So someone could send you, and I've got a great real estate agent here, residential, sold me a property or six in Austin, Texas. And she does a great job of sending out these automated emails saying, your house could be worth XYZ today. Reach out to your local real estate agent and find out if that's the case. It may be, I don't know. So residential is a little bit different than we're talking about with commercial. And the reason is because there's a lot more statistics out there for residential real estate agents. So when we sell real estate here in Texas, it's a non-disclosure state, which means that we don't have to report when things buy, sell, when they what they sold for, how long they were on market, if they even went to market, so on. So that's a little bit different. So this is not for residential real estate agents that want to work in residential. You have enough resources out there for you. We do help residential real estate agents market their property because that takes a ton of time. And we have systems that are set up to automate all of it. So if you are in the residential and you want some help marketing your property, we have amazing systems set up. I will send you whatever you like, but mostly you might be interested in what an offering memorandum looks like. So this is a little bit different than most people are doing when they're selling real estate, which is instead of just putting it up on the MLS, which is then syndicated out to Zillow and Trulia and whatever else is out there, Redfin. This is a little bit different. This is what we're talking about is commercial real estate here. We're talking about land, industrial, talking about distribution, we're talking about multifamily, we're talking about office, all of the above. Again, as I mentioned earlier, great time to buy because, as Warren Buffett says, the best time to buy is when nobody else is, or when they're selling. And so a lot of people are trying to sell right now. They're trying to exit the market where they think is at the top, or at least before it goes down to the bottom. My contention is that at this time, it's the perfect time to buy because things are on sale, bing, 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 on sale. So we're going to go through exactly what that looks like when you underwrite a property, what systems and programs I use to underwrite properties, why people pay me to underwrite properties. We write what's called a broker's opinion of value, a BOV. So you may have heard that term tossed around. What that is a agent or broker is doing the underwriting for your property or for the property that you're trying to buy. And the reason that's important is because what you see on the MLS, what you see on Redfin and Zillow and so on, those are listed properties. Those are what they would like to get, but it's not necessarily what they're going to get. So where do you come in at an offer to make it work for your model? And by model, I mean, so when you're going to enter into an investment, you want to have multiple exit stages. So you could sell it right away. How much would you make if you sold it right away? You could sell it in a year, 5 years, 10 years. So how long is your hold? And then, of course, if you're trying to make money on the income, you want to say, okay, if I sell this today, I'm no longer going to have that income coming in. So what can I do with that money in order to continue to make more money? And oftentimes that's the answer to that is, as you know, as you just pointed out there on the TikTok live, it is 1031 exchange. So 1031 exchange is a tax deferred sale and investment, and that allows you to make more money on more money. So 1031 is a great opportunity. I'm going to go through 10 steps here when you are evaluating and buying real estate, and then I'll show you exactly how I do it. So again, it's not super hard to sell real estate as long as it's accurately priced. Oftentimes, it's not accurately priced. You may all see a bunch of inventory, we call it, a bunch of properties that are on the internet or are listed for sale, and they haven't moved in a long time. Well, I hear this all the time from agents and brokers, and they say, oh, my property isn't selling. It must not be getting in front of the right people. False. You're not getting in front of the right people that are willing to buy it. So what I do is I help you get that in front of the right people. Now, it needs to be accurately priced. It has to be reasonably priced. And when I say reasonably priced, I mean, what is somebody willing to pay for today, and why are they willing to pay that price? Very, very different in residential real estate. Residential real estate, you can tap into a 401k. You can borrow money from your brother or whatever. And shout out Seb, my brother. Please lend me money to buy real estate. So yeah, you can always find more money. But if you're working in commercial real estate, and if it's income producing property, if someone is paying rent on it or could pay rent on it, what would that value be? And at what point are you willing to invest in that real estate to have what's called the cap rate? Have the cap rate make sense? So the cap rate needs to be, in most cases, the cap rate needs to be above the interest rate or the borrowing rate. Whatever money you're borrowing at, you're going to have to pay that on a per annum basis. Your cap rate better be higher than that, or you better be investing in real estate where you can add into that real estate and increase the value over time and be willing to hold on to it. Because if you're investing in something and you're borrowing more money than you're making off of the property, that's a no-no. That's something we don't want to do, particularly if you don't see a rapid appreciation occurring by the time you have your exit point. So as we're talking about that here, let me jump through the 10 ways to accurately invest in real estate. And again, always consult a licensed real estate agent that can help you through all these things. Number one is invest wisely. I know that's it should be a trite expression at this point, and it's a foregone conclusion. You should invest wisely, but of course, do your due diligence. Look at places that have growth, job opportunities, economic stability, property acquisition. We want to make sure we make money on the buy. That's the number one real estate acquisition moniker, I would say, or motto is make money on the buy. You need to make money on the buy. And the way that you make money on the buy is by accurately underwriting it. And then again, figuring out where those exit points are. When we're talking about things like land, or we're talking about something that is not immediately producing income. Now that could be, that income could be from a tax deferred standpoint. That income could be from a farm and ranch, cattle grazing on your property, an agriculture exemption, but it's not going to hit the cap rates that you need. So if we're talking about investing in an income producing property, family building, which has tenants that are paying rent, we need to make sure that we're investing wisely in growth areas. So property acquisition, number 2. Number 3 is diversify your portfolio. You do not want to be heavy in any one asset class. Buy your first investment, make your first investment. Again, you can do that very easily on a syndication platform like Fundrise, or I'm sure there's a lot of other ones out there. Or if you know somebody that's raising money, you're a qualified investor, you're able to make that acquisition or make that investment, then do so, but diversify your portfolio. So you want to invest in an asset class which is appreciating right now in Texas and in Austin. We're talking about warehouse distribution. We're talking about, I love office. Like I know that a lot of people are like, boo, office. Well, I disagree, because you want to buy again when nobody else is buying, and you want to buy when that asset class is going down. Hopefully it's close to the bottom. Just like investing in anything, it's really hard to time markets, but if you invest and diversify over time, you're going to have a good time. So invest over time. Shout out to all my friends out there on the LinkedIn Live. LinkedIn has been a great platform for me. I recently, again, received a accolade for my TikTok channel. Shout out to the TikTok people. Give me a thumbs up if you see me out there on TikTok. Appreciate it. But on LinkedIn or on YouTube Live, I mean, YouTube has such a huge market. So if you're looking to get your property out in front of the right people and the most amount of people, and you're accurately pricing it, I mean, YouTube, TikTok, Shorts, Reels, boom. I'll take care of you. Message me. I'll help you out with that. So yeah, let's talk about what we're going in terms of just investing in general. Next thing we have here is leverage financing. So I know, I always recommend to my investors, if you can pay in cash, bring it. Cash is king right now. Cash is king. I wish I had a crown on, but I'm going with the cowboy hat. As you guys know, all cattle and hat. Just to know, all cattle and hat. So yeah, invest in properties where you can leverage financing, whether that's borrowing money, again, at a rate that's lower than the cap rate. That's a fantastic investment because you'll be making the margin between the two. If you can borrow money at a discounted rate, something like using like an SBA loan or a USDA loan, those are both great. And they take a little bit longer, but borrowing money at less than the cap rate or borrowing money for the least amount possible. Right now, we're in the middle of September in 2023. And the interest rate, which I anticipate will go up again in a week from now, 6 days from now, is going to be prime plus 1.5% to borrow. So when you're talking about how much does money cost at this time to invest in commercial real estate, now again, totally different from when you're investing in something like a home, because there are programs that are set up, just like there is for USDA and SBA loan. There are government programs that are set up, and if you can tap into those, please consider those when you're investing in a home, a primary home. There are some really great rates out there. I think you can get about 6% right now, whereas in commercial, we're looking at the 8.5% to 9% interest rate on a property, maybe 10%, depends on the asset class. Construction loans, super hard to get right now. So when you're leveraging your money, you're leveraging your real estate. And I know that there's a lot of great investors out there that understand that borrowing against a property's equity is a fantastic play. So again, as we're buying, we're making money on the buy, and we're buying an asset that has a lot of equity in it, we're able to leverage that equity and then go out and churn and burn. So keep going through on that platform. Next one is tenant selection. I'm learning this the hard way. This week last week, I had a bad tenant, and we had to ask them to leave a building, and it was not a pretty picture. It's not a pretty sight because they were not paying anymore. So invest wisely. When I say invest wisely, I mean do your due diligence, right? Make sure that you are investing in a property where you're confident that the tenant is going to pay, or they're paying a crazy amount, right? Because a lot of times I get asked by my clients, is this a good tenant? Particularly if I'm on the landlord rep side. If I'm representing the building, I get a lot of questions on, is this a good tenant or not? Well, I and my company do a crazy amount of research to figure out, is it the right tenant or not? And the right tenant matters for you. It's going to matter. Not only are they going to pay, but how much are they paying? If they're willing to pay way more and you're willing to go through that eviction process or that put that risk out there, I just want to make sure that you are aware that that's the case. But if you are looking for a risk averse investment in commercial real estate, I would say stay away from the risky tenants. I would go with a client or a tenant that is more likely to pay on a consistent basis. Their business is growing. They don't have any problems with the Better Business Bureau. So all of those things and above are things you should be looking at today when you're investing. Next thing is value add strategies. You want to put your money into a building where you can increase the length of the tenant being there, but also the appeal to it. So this is amenities. A lot of times we're seeing this today in the multifamily market. I get questions every day. Where in Austin, Texas, where in Dallas, where in Houston should I be investing in a multifamily building that I can do value add? Well, what is value add? Value add means adding amenities, which will allow the tenants or will encourage the tenants to stay there longer, be more comfortable. It will be painful for them to leave. They'll have to find something else to go somewhere else that doesn't have the great things that you offer. So yeah, make sure that you have great amenities when you purchase the amenities, or you can add value add into the property. This may be putting new paint on. This could be adding marble countertops. This could be a new HVAC system above and beyond, right? You want to make sure not only is the building properly managed, which is our next one, property management's big deal. Make sure it's properly managed. You're taking care of your asset, just like anything. You want to make sure you take care of the asset and then add into it where your tenants find the most value. And that's the big key. Reach out to your tenants, talk to your tenants, say, hey, look, at this point, you've been a good tenant so far. If I could improve this building, I'm not saying I'm going to. I'm saying that if I were to improve something on this building, what would that look like to you? Where would you just fall in love and tell everybody you have the best building? And look, there's always extra space in a building, or there usually is, or there's extra property, or you could build another building next to it. So there's always the opportunity in most cases to grow that asset. Where would you, as a tenant, really like to what would you really like to see? The next thing is marketing your property. So that's what I specialize in. I'm the market master for commercial real estate. That's the one thing that I find that most of my clients are like blown away by. They love the marketing. We produce amazing offering memorandums. We get in front of the right people. Work with a licensed real estate agent that has a massive network, that has multiple channels. Thank you to y'all. Has multiple channels and is able to efficiently and effectively market your property, get in front of the right people at the right price, and boom, you got a sale. All right. So, and then the last one here, number 10, is exit strategy. As I mentioned before, very important. In order to have an exit strategy, make sure you know where your numbers need to be in order to exit a property. The whole point of this is to have either an income producing property for stable income coming in, or it's to bank on the buy and the appreciation, or the difference between where you buy it, what you add to it, and where you sell. So pretty easy formula, not always easy in the implementation, as y'all know, but in this case, yeah, those are the top 10 strategies. And I'm going to give you a number 11, a bonus tip here. Invest for the long term. I know it's hard to say. I know everybody wants to make a quick dollar or yen or yuan or peso, so on and so forth. But make sure that you're willing to hold the asset for the long term. Buy at a good price. Hold the property. Make sure it's fully leased up with quality tenants that pay on time. And that's a very marketable asset. For those of you out there that sell triple net properties, you know how hard it is, or leased properties, you know how hard it is to sell a building that has subpar tenants, or that the rent is way under where it should be. You didn't set it, but you got to deal with it now. So yeah, really important. If you own assets, if you own commercial real estate and you're buying commercial real estate, make sure that you have stellar tenants in there that are paying market rate or above. Makes it a very much more easy property to sell if that's your objective. Let's jump into, a lot of you here for the underwriting. The underwriting is the hardest part of this business. Underwriting means, what is it valued at today? Based on comps, based on what else is available, what other things are selling for. A lot of that market knowledge, particularly in commercial real estate, is a sort of a clandestine, tightly held understanding of what that property really is worth. And that has to do with just being in connection. I mean, every day, all day, I'm on the phone talking to other brokers. I'm talking to agents that are working in the field that are knocking doors. I'm talking to finance companies, banks, everybody, insurance companies. So if you want to partner, if you want to work together on some of those, I need some information from you. And then I give information out based on how valuable that information. We're trading, baby. We're trading. Okay, so let's jump into it. I want to show you a few tools that I use on a regular basis. And you can chime in on the LinkedIn Live, the YouTube comments, and I will put these all these links in the comments, including the book here, Real Estate by the Numbers. And then I'm going to take some water here for 75 hard challenge, baby. I remember when Austin Linney used to do this, and I used to get so frustrated at him when I was doing interviews because I was like, "Why are you drinking water all the time?" He's like, "I'm going 75 hard." He was like on his third or fourth one. So shout out Austin. Okay, so let's jump into it. I want to show you some things here. This is again where I really get the most. I give the most value, whether I'm doing it through a broker's opinion of value, whether I'm listing your property, or whether we're going into a deal together. I'm always open to investing in a deal that has the 10 steps that we talked about before. Those are all really important. When I'm investing in a deal, that's exactly what I do. Someone sends me a property. I say, okay, is this the right deal for me? And the way that I find out if it's the right deal for me or not is simply by underwriting the property. So I'll show you what that looks like here. One of the things that I like to do, I mean, everybody has access to this. You don't need access to CoStar. You can simply go to here to LoopNet. And LoopNet is where all the properties are listed, or all publicly listed properties that people are paying for to list them on LoopNet. I would recommend, if you're working with a broker or an agent that is helping you list your property, make sure your property is on LoopNet. Not a great expense, not a fun thing to pay for every month, but it has the most widely viewed and widely accepted standards for when you're investing in commercial real estate. This is where we look outside of something like CoStar. The other free platforms that I highly recommend if you don't have access to something like CoStar or a local MLS are MyEListing, Crexy. You can find properties on Facebook marketing, Facebook pages. And those are really good ways. I mean, you can even go to something like Craigslist, for example. I find that sometimes when people are listing on something like Craigslist or Facebook, they are really looking to get rid of that property. So those are great opportunities to purchase. So you see here, and for those of you and my friends on TikTok, we're here on LoopNet. You can see this live if you go to the LinkedIn Live. Just search my name, Zach Rasinger. It's Roesinger. All of y'all out there know that. Okay, so I'm looking at here at Taylor, Texas. Taylor, Texas, as you may or may not know, is where the new Samsung factory is going to be. This is a $25 billion investment that Samsung is making in Williamson County, which is just outside of Austin, Texas. We're looking at what the available properties for sale are right now. I'm going to remove the boundary here. I'm going to go to the aerial shot. I love the aerial just because I think it's easier for me to understand where the town is, where the town is moving, as we can see where the progress is happening inside of an area. So as we zoom in and we see what else is available, it's really important to know what utilities are available, what zoning is. And the way that we find that out is by looking at something like a local GIS map. So GIS map has multiple layers on top of it. Those layers will show you everything from zoning and utilities. It'll show you, in a lot of cases, VPD, vehicles per day, who's driving, where they're driving, what the increase is year over year. But on LoopNet, we can see what is available today. So it would be a great hybrid if any of you guys are developers or designers out there. If you could figure out a way to integrate LoopNet into the local county, or vice versa, the local county GIS map, overlay that into LoopNet, that would be a killer idea. So if you want to develop that, reach out to me. I'm happy to use that and pay for it for sure. So I'm going to pull off LoopNet here, and I'm going to go into what a GIS map looks like for the same city we were just looking at, the city of Taylor, Texas. So we'll look at here, Taylor, Texas. This is the zoning map. The reason this is important is because you have in any town, you have a property or a city boundary. That city boundary is going to show you where they're going to provide utilities or where the utilities will go or could go. Outside of that, we're in the ETJ, the extraterrestrial zone or jurisdiction. And what that means is that there's some of the rules that are in place for the city. There are some that are in place for the county. And then outside of the ETJ, then we're going to the county. So those rules are a little bit more lax. Each of these three districts or zones. So we're talking about the county that has the least amount of restrictions because they want to increase growth. There's a lot of land out there. There's a least amount of restrictions. Then we move into the ETJ, a little bit more restrictions. Then into the city, they want to make sure that they develop the city correctly. So you have a city planner, you have a city manager, all of the above. Makes it a little bit more difficult, but also you really know what can go into a certain area. So we're looking at a zoning map here. Zoning on the right-hand side, I've turned zoning on. You can see what can be used. What are the different uses that can happen right now, right? You can always change zoning. In most cases, you can change zoning, but it goes through. You have to submit an application to the P&Z board, which is the property and zoning board, and that takes a little bit more. So if you want to develop immediately, go county. If you want a little bit more restrictions, go ETJ. If you want to develop as the city wants it developed today, then you're into the city. And if you want to change that zoning, then now we're looking into actually going to the P&Z and going in front of city council and so on. So if we're looking at a zoning map, we can kind of see like the pink section here. These are government properties, of course. This is the airport. This is residential. You can see all the homes here. And it makes it easier, again, if you're looking at an aerial map to see exactly where the homes are, what's for sale, so on. So if we look at the GIS map here, one of the things I like to do, so I'll turn off the zoning. The parcels are on. So parcels, again, are where the land is divided currently. If we take that and we zoom in on a particular parcel, let's look down here. So we look at a particular parcel, zoom in, and we want to see, for example, where the growth sector is, where the town is anticipating the most growth, where they've planned for the growth, and what type of growth they're anticipating or they would like to see happen. So we can see here, these are all the different growth zones. Each of these has a regulation behind it. These are all available on the local county and city website for what can be developed, what the rules are behind that. So those are part of the due diligence and the underwriting as well. What can be placed there? A lot of times you get a client is like, hey, can I put a gas station in this location? Well, currently it's not zoned for that. If we want to change the zoning, it's going to cost some money and it's going to take some time. Is that something you're willing to go through? Now, if it's on a corner, hard corner, lots of vehicles per day, boom, say do it. But other than that, I would say go with the zoning is now. If you want to be up and running and you're developing land or you're redeveloping land, right? Maybe you see something, you're like, oh, that would be a really great office building or something, or multifamily, and it's zoned for that, then that's what you can change it to and develop to, or that's what you can develop on right now. So looking further in, the things I want to highlight, the most important actually for most developers is when you're trying to develop is utilities. So the utilities I classify in 4 different tracks. So those are water. Does it have access to water, or do you need a well? If you need a well, how expensive is that well to drill? How deep do you need to go? How many gallons can that output? And then if that's necessary, how long will it take to get that permit to put that well in? And if it's easier, you just want to go directly into the city water. When you're talking about things like multifamily, you need water. Whether that's a big pump, I don't know if I'd chance it, right? A lot of times a multifamily or a house in the city is going to need quite a bit of water. So I don't know if I want to chance it to have to dig a well or put it in one of those blue tanks. I would say it's better if you're developing either of those two things to either be in the city or have low low flow amount of need. If we look at, I'll leave the streets on here because it makes it's easier to understand. If we're looking at things like sewer, so again, there's water, sewer, power, and then zoning. But water, we already talked about. Sewer, or a lot of times they call wastewater. I think it's just a nicer way to say it. That can be done using a mud, PUD, PID, TERS. All of those are terms that have to do with investing in a location to develop that, and then getting a tax, either a tax that's imposed upon people as they move in, or it's working with the local government in order to put water into a place where there's not water right now to encourage development. Expensive, but sometimes, it depends on what your underwriting looks like. If it makes sense underwriting, then you should use it. So you can see here, as we're inside of the city, we've got, this is a CCN. So this means where they could put it. Then doesn't mean this is where they will put it. You can see here, the lower left-hand corner, this is Samsung. So Samsung here has 1,300 acres that they're developing. They've developed the first building, and they're building the second two right now. So big things are happening in and around Samsung. Samsung will revolutionize the town of Taylor, will revolutionize the county of Williamson County, and it'll revolutionize what's happening here in Austin, Texas, as we've already seen with the arrival of Tesla and the new Cybertruck. Looks pretty cool from what I've seen. If you have a Cybertruck, give me a shout out. I'd love to take a ride. So we're looking at the CCNs. We can look at the water towers, where the water towers are located. And then we're talking about water. We're talking about capacity, right? LUEs. Is it possible to tap into the current water that is on site? And if so, how many taps are available? So a lot of times, even if it's private water, even if it's a private water company, they have a certain number of capacity of how many taps they can add. It costs money every time you put a tap and a meter on. So those are two different costs when you're developing land. So we can see here the outline of the city. And then if we look at here, other uses, right? Water lines, super important, right? We delve in here, and you can see when you expand the map on the right-hand side, you can see the size of the water line. The water line size is going to depend on how many LUEs, depending on right now how many are being used, how many taps can add on to the line. If you have a multifamily, obviously you need more taps than if you have a warehouse. So there are rules and regulations. All of these things can be found through the local county and city websites. So these are all the water lines. If you're going to put up a building, or you're going to change the use of something, or if you're going to increase the number of taps, you need to be focusing on what size water line is in there right now, what can go in there, and then how much it's going to cost to put that water line in if it's possible. So all these things are through the local county and city governments. Or if it's private water, it's going to be through the private water company. Okay, so we've looked at the map now, and we kind of see what is feasible, now what is available, and then what is for sale. Those things, again, are through LoopNet, Crexy, My eListing, and Facebook Marketplace, and so on. I want to highlight here one of the most useful and free ways or pages or systems to use is the local county CAD. So what the tax assessment is on a property, what someone is paying on a yearly basis, who owns it, when it's changed hands, is there any debt on it? All of these things can be found, and it's all public information. So if you're trying to find out what is the assessed value, now that's not the value that you're going to pay on the property. You may pay more or less. And that's a lot of what we do in the underwriting is it being accurately assessed by the taxing jurisdiction, or can you get a really good deal on something because it's being assessed and they're paying taxes on something, and you believe that it's higher or lower than where it should be. All these things matter, and they all go into an underwriting report. So if we look at this here, I'm going to flip over and I'll show you what that looks like when we're looking at something like the Williamson County jurisdiction CAD. It's a very informative. Every county has one for when they tax things. It's a very helpful website when you're trying to figure out what is the value of something, what is it being charged at right now, what will your taxes be when you acquire a property and it changes the use of it, right? We just talked about the planning and zoning board. When you go to that planning and zoning board, they're going to say, okay, what are you trying to use this for? What are you proposing to use it for? There's going to be not only rollback taxes. Rollback taxes mean if it's being used as something different in the future, you've got to pay the back taxes for a certain number of years as if it was already that thing. So if you're buying land, for example, the rollback tax, and you're changing that use to residential, let's say, if you're changing the use of that, your taxes are going to be higher in the future, but you're also going to have to pay some rollback taxes. Again, all of this goes into the underwriting. So let's look at what it looks like when we're looking at something like the Williamson County CAD. And again, every jurisdiction has one of these. So it's just kind of fun, I think, to look at what it looks like. What it looks like when we're trying to assess a property. How much are they paying right now? Who owns it? Those are really good things. If you're trying to go in and shark deals, if you're trying to go shark deals, this is one of the best websites to use for free, is to go into the local Williamson County. And I'll show you here. I just Googled Williamson County CAD. First thing that shows up here, the appraisal district. And then if we look at property search, we can see here there's a list of all these. Now let's just say Taylor Road. Let's go. You can look up anybody who owns property, by the way. So this is a really good. Let's look at Taylor Road. If we're looking at here, this is a tract of land here. So let's look at one that actually has some values on it. Sometimes they're going to have a property that is being exempt from taxes, or it's a parcel that belongs to another jurisdiction, or it's another parcel. So it's two parcels together. One they're not paying taxes on, the other they're paying more taxes on because it encompasses the entire thing. So it depends on. Let's look at here, Taylor. See if we can find another one. Taylor Golf Course. Let's see what the Taylor Golf Course is. See how the Taylor Golf Course. Again, strikeout. I was hoping we could find something. So sometimes they have a municipal golf course, right? So then you're part of the municipality. Let's see one last look here. Let's try to find something. An investment property here. And we're out again. So looking at things that are accurately priced, and the way that you accurately price something is by underwriting that. The way you underwrite that is by working with a licensed real estate agent or an underwriter, and then marketing that property effectively and efficiently with the most amount of resources. The more resources you can throw at something once you accurately price it, the higher the likelihood is that you're going to sell it and have that exit point, as we talked about earlier. So if you have any questions on marketing your property, if you have any questions on underwriting your property, if you want to propose an investment, I'm all for it. Reach out to me. I'm Zach Rasinger. I'm a licensed real estate agent here in Texas, and I'm here to help you out. So reach out to me. I'd love to have a conversation, whether you have already invested in the property, you own it, you inherited it, you're thinking about getting it through auction. All of those are really great ways to acquire a property. But then once you have it, where are your exit? What is the best use? How can you add to the appreciation of it by, again, investing in the amenities or building a new building? Where are the value add opportunities in it? And then where is your exit point? That's a really important thing. Again, the best way to do that is by following those 10 steps. And then we exit together and we go and have a celebration margarita after my 75 hard, guys. All right. So I hope you really enjoyed. Again, get out there and check out the Jay Scott and Dave Meyer book here. If you have any questions on deal analysis, or if you want me to underwrite a deal for you, I'm happy to do so. Reach out to me. I'm Zach Rasinger. Thank you very much. Enjoy.